Alright guys, today we're going to show you how to set up your layers, and we have just 4 required layers. You'll be able to do as many layers as you want once you get this set up and understand a little bit about how it works. So the first step is to set up your tools and your windows that you need to be able to view layers and the entity info, which remember is the way you're going to be able to assign the layers once you get them set up. So we're going to go up here to the top to window, and this has changed a little bit. In this newer version of SketchUp, we have something called default tray. And default tray allows you to turn different features and windows on and off just by checking the boxes here. So we're going to want entity info on. We can we'll shut off our materials for the moment, and we also want to turn on layers. Okay, and we'll see once we get in here and select layers, this toolbar will appear off to the right, or actually the window that we need. And then we can also get rid of any of the other windows maybe that we don't want. Layers is one that we're going to use for sure. But if you see these little X's here, you can exit out of styles, you can exit out of shadows, and the instructor just by hitting the little X here next to those options. So we want our layers and our entity info. So if you hit the little arrow that you see here, it'll open those up and have them ready to go. Your first step is just to create the 4 layers that we need. And to do that, you're just going to hover here to where below your layers option, and there's a plus, and we're going to click the plus 4 times. And we've got 4 required layers that we need to name here. So if you just edit the names, we need floor, walls, not wheels, warehouse, and original, or you can abbreviate OG if you prefer. And today we only have floor and some floor pieces and walls to work with. We're going to start though either today or tomorrow to get some things from the warehouse and then to design some original objects that you'll put on the original layer. So the first thing we'll need to do is, and we'll just be following along the same instructions that you see on your half sheet of purple paper that you have at your station. The front side is how to set these up like we just did, and the back side is how to actually assign them. So the first step, regardless of the model that you're using, is to use your selection tool, and that's just the arrow that you see in the top left corner. We're going to select the floor, and you can see that I have different rooms and different floor pieces, so we want to select all of the floor pieces. So you're going to hold the shift key, you'll see you get a little plus next to it, and you're going to click on all the pieces of the floor. Make sure all of them get selected, and they'll all be highlighted with these little dots here. We're going to then have to make a group of it. Remember, our rule is we've got to make a group of any objects or pieces or things before we can assign them to a layer. So we're going to right click now that we've selected all this stuff on anywhere on the floor here, just to right click and select make group from the center of the options here. Now we have a single group that is all the floor, and that's our way of telling SketchUp, hey SketchUp, this is all of our floor stuff. So then we need to assign it, and you'll see in the entity info box here up in the top left, you make sure it's still open. You'll see now where it says layer, everything starts out on layer 0, and now we want to assign it to the layer that it actually should be on, which is the floor. So we're going to use a little drop down arrow next to it, select floor, and that one's all set and ready to go. The way to check it and make sure that it worked is to uncheck the box over here to the right of the name floor, and that should disappear, and we should be able to see through that. So we're actually going to leave the floor off for a moment because our next step here is to select all the rest of this stuff, group it into a group, and then set it up to the walls layer. And remember, that's our rule. We've got to group things before we assign them over to a layer. So first we're going to use our selection tool again, and we're going to draw a selection window around everything. So just a big box, make sure everything fits inside. Once it's selected, remember, since we have the floor shut off, everything that's left, all those lines and surfaces, are going to be walls for us. But we want to group them first. So we're going to right click anywhere on any wall, select make group, and then you'll need to get over into your entity info again and switch from 0 over to walls. And you can actually check this out again to uncheck your walls box and make sure that everything disappears. You might have a little line along the bottom edge, not a big deal. We just want to make sure we can shut off the walls when we need to. If you turn everything back on, you'll be ready to start to add contents in the model. One quick note though, if you want to make any changes, that is get rid of a wall, delete a wall, make your structure larger and expand some of your rooms, to edit your group, you'll have to select, just click once on any wall, but then to edit or change it, you've got to double click on the wall, and you'll be in an edit mode where you can just change anything that you want. When you're done, you'll have to click off of the model, and that'll save any changes that you make. Let me know if you have questions, and hopefully you got your layers all set up. We'll move on to moving, scaling, and rotating to get some furniture in place.